as well. Pursuant to Standing Order 39, the question that this House do now adjourn is deemed to have been made. The member for Cambridge has given notice of dissatisfaction with the answer to a question given on November the 28th on hospital expansion projects by the Minister of Health and Long-Term Care. The member for Cambridge has up to 5 minutes to debate the matter, and either the Minister of Health or the Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Health may reply for up to 5 minutes, and I recognize the member for Cambridge.
Don't leave.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday's question period produced a great deal of disappointment from this side of the House.
Shame.
I was thoroughly upset with the quality of answers that the Minister of Health was providing this House. The Minister did not understand the question that I was asking and then stated incorrectly that the information the House requested from this government was available online. Mr. Speaker, the question that I asked yesterday was not whether or not the expansion was moving forward. Instead, I asked the Minister if she would be tabling on behalf of her government a detailed plan that outlines the costs, a timeline for completion, and how the government plans to pay for the construction and operation of all the hospital expansion projects promised before and during the 2011 general election.
Just tell us.
Choosing to ignore such a simple question, the Minister thought that I was asking about funding for Cambridge Memorial Hospital and stated that the hospital expansion project was moving forward for Cambridge. I don't need the Minister to promise the Cambridge Memorial Hospital expansion again. We all know that it will eventually happen.
Sometime.
We don't know when. They have done this promising over the last 8 years. I'm looking for the Minister to table a detailed plan on how the hospital expansion projects across Ontario, not just in Cambridge, will proceed. In addition, on the Minister's supplementary answer, she said that all the information that the House has required the government to table is on the Infrastructure Ontario's website. However, Mr. Speaker, the website that the Minister speaks of does not have the costs, it does not have a timeline of completion, and does not offer any details with how the government plans to pay for these projects. No dates, no figures, and most importantly, no accountability.
None.
In addition, the Minister stated yesterday that they cannot release numbers because it would affect the competition process. However, when determining what projects should be funded, the government must know how much they are estimating for each project. They claim it is in the budget. Well, Mr. Speaker, I looked at the budget, and Cambridge Memorial Hospital was not in it. I haven't been able to access the estimates for 2013 either. The motion is not seeking out nickels and cents, but rather estimates of the project costs. In addition, if these hospital expansion costs have yet to be determined, then no project should have estimated costs. However, when my staff did research through newspaper articles, they found that certain projects were given these estimates. For example, Providence Care in Kingston is receiving $350 million, whereas the new Vaughan Hospital has no figures released. The member for Nickel Belt listed many examples of this last week. All I'm asking this government to do is to table the plan that they say they already have.
Show us the plan.
Why don't they take the next step and table that plan to this House? Mr. Speaker, it's time for the Minister to stop passing the buck. Her government should follow the will of the House and table a detailed plan that outlines the costs, a timeline for completion, and how the government plans to pay for the construction and operation of all the hospital expansion projects promised before and during the 2011 general election. Yesterday, the Minister of Health could not provide me with the answers to the questions that I've been asking. Will the Minister or the Parliamentary Secretary stand up today and answer such a simple question without being confused about whether her government will table a detailed plan for hospital expansions in the province of Ontario? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. In reply, I recognize the Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Health, the member for Guelph.
Yes, thank you, Speaker, and it's good to see you back in uniform today. So congratulations on your appointment as, what do we call this, the Assistant Deputy Speaker? I'm never quite sure. Anyway, it's great to see you in the chair. To address the question, I'd like to thank the member opposite for his question, and I would like to provide an explicit answer. Yes, we will provide the information to the legislature, and yes, because the subtext in all of this is you're not going to really build it. Yes, we will be building Cambridge Memorial Hospital. And as a matter of fact, there actually are already 2 of the sort of early works projects going on to prepare for the major construction, and the RFQ, the request for qualifications for the main project, is set for 2013. But I must reiterate, much of the information is already online, but we'll ensure that as information, more detailed information becomes available, that it's provided to you. But in defense of the minister, you accused her of not understanding the question. Quite frankly, I don't think you understood the answer, which is, depending on how construction is going to be carried out, that the costings and the timelines and a lot of those financial details are part of the competitive process. You can't have it both ways. You can't make a big fuss if you say something has been sole sourced and not competitively bid, and then turn around and say, but we want you to announce all the information in advance that would actually be part of a competitive bid. As in many cases, you can't have it both ways. The other thing I would point out, that in fact the detailed plans are the responsibility of the hospital. That yes, they need to go to the Ministry of Health for approval, but the development of the detailed plans is actually presented by the hospital that's doing the particular project. So some of the information is under development at the hospital, and when it has been approved by the Ministry of Health, can be made available. But a lot of the information you're asking for, and this would apply to all of the projects, will become available as part of the ongoing construction process. So, but are we willing to make it publicly available as it becomes available? Absolutely, we will provide it. And I just want to point out that we are very proud of our record. In fact, it was your government that kept promising things and then not actually putting them in the budget. If you look at what we did in our first 2 mandates, we had a capital plan for hospital reconstruction, and we carried that out. Now we have announced another round, a 10-year plan for hospital construction. We have announced what those projects will be, and we will carry them out. And if you look at our last 8-year record of building hospitals, I am absolutely delighted to stand it up against your 8-year record of building hospitals. We're the people that built hospitals in our last 8 years. You're the people that closed hospitals in your last 8 years. So, yes, we will build Cambridge Memorial. We will build a new hospital in Milton. We will be building Groves Memorial, Speaker. We will be building Brockville General, and we will be building Renfrew Victoria Hospital. And I'm very proud that we are going to do that, because we're the the party that has actually taken the time to develop long-term capital plans, not just in healthcare, but in all sorts of other sectors, and then actually have followed through on our capital plans. And we look forward, with your cooperation, I hope, in continuing to do that. Thank you.